What's going on, guys? How you doing? It's Jamie. Thank you very much for joining me in this live. Super pumped about this one. This is going to help you if you're a coach, course creator, high ticket affiliate, low ticket affiliate, network marketer, consultant, plumber, probably, who knows. Anyway, this is going to help you basically make more sales easier than it is for you to go and grab a glass of water. Maybe not that easy, but you kind of get my point. Anyway, there's three very, very critical elements that if you understand these, this is the basis of sales, marketing, and offer creation stuff. And if you're able to combine these things, add it into whatever it is that you're selling, you're going to be able to sell a lot easier as well. So I do have a very, very small flavor. Got a very small flavor for you guys. I have a very small favor to ask you guys. If you happen to see this very live, if you could just tap the heart button and drop a comment, hashtag hello, hashtag live, hashtag replay, whatever you want. If not for me, it does help me, I will confess that, but if not for me, it helps the message get out to more people in the algorithm. So the more people that can see this type of stuff, the more people I can help, the more people it is going to benefit. So that would be greatly appreciated. That is my only request for this. Anyway, I'm going to give it a couple of seconds there, and I'm going to share my screen. I've got a really wicked presentation to go through that's going to help you out as well. Thanks, Linda. Appreciate it. Always appreciate you. And let's see if I can do this thing. What's the thing here? Take notes. Mama Bear, you might learn some stuff from this young dog. While I'm there, so by the way, I'm streaming in three different places. I'm streaming on my Facebook group, my Facebook page, and also my YouTube channel as well. So anyone that is wondering why I'm kind of like talking to myself here, it is because other people are commenting if you can't see it. The person who just commented is she's my mum, and she is my inspiration for getting into the online marketing world, and she's going to get all shy and weird when I talk about this. But this is a live stream. We're not on Zoom, so she can't get that shy and weird anyway. But basically, mum set up an e-commerce store back in 1996, would you believe? And this is before Google was a thing. In fact, Google didn't exist at that point. Before Amazon was a multinational. It was only in the States, just in its early stages at that point. This is before, before everything. The search engines were Yahoo, Ask Jeeves, Alta Vista. Feel free to drop any more that were missing there. There was no payment processes. There was no WordPress. There was no Shopify. There was no BigCommerce. There was no WooCommerce. There's none of that stuff. She developed a site, and basically in small town New Zealand started selling this stuff. It's an amazing herbal product that helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Ended up selling the business 2021, so she ran it for 24 odd years, which in internet terms that's like, it might as well be like an entire ice age. Basically, it was a very, very long time. And so she was my inspiration for getting into the online marketing world, and I credit her with pretty much everything I've learned, almost up until a point. Anyway, let me do this one thing. I'm going to share my screen. But I appreciate you, man. I love you, by the way. Right. Check this value out. Cool. Right, that's me. Yep. Okay, awesome. So, put my phone away. Right, so I'm going to present this thing, and basically what it is three really critical elements for you if you are selling stuff online. And once you understand these, like I say, it is imperative that you're able to go through this stuff and understand it, because if you do, it's just going to make the sales process that much easier. Okay, so anyway, share my screen. There we go, Dunsky, and hopefully you guys can see all this as well. Now just double check on my phone. Well, no, I don't want to share that. I want to slideshow it. Make sure that I am actually showing up after all. Oh no, am I showing up? Yes, showing up. Perfect. All right, keep those comments coming. I really, really, really appreciate it, guys. Hit the engagement as many times as you can, as many comments as you can. The more you can get this out there, like I say, the more people that we can impact with this message. And hopefully even just one person, if I could just help that one person out and they understand something, they have an epiphany, they get something out of this, then that is the entire goal. And that's why I ask for engagement all the way. Appreciate you guys. Right. Combining these three crucial elements will help you close more sales easier than pouring a glass of water. Hopefully everyone can pour a glass of water, and hopefully that is not a hard task where you are living. Right. Number one is you got to sell the process. Okay. So think about it this way. If in your content, you're creating content and your prospect can clearly see, they can clearly visualize how they are going to get to their destination, they are far more likely to convert because they are already there in their mind. They're already at that destination in their own mind. Okay, so if you can paint that picture, you can put a bridge between where they are and where they want to be in your content. You can sell that process and build that bridge for them in their own mind. They're already 2/3 of the way there, right? Because they've already gone through that process. Oh yeah, that makes sense, and I'll go, and then I'll do that other thing, and then I'll end up over there on the other side, right? So if you're able to do that, and it could be as simple as like with what I've got, I show folks how to grow and monetize a community online. How do I go about doing that? Well, we use a couple of little techniques where we're able to rapidly build trust. We're able to rapidly elevate our authority. We're able to rapidly help that person out and actually give them a ton of value in advance. And in doing so, we're able to close as many as 1 in 6 people into customers. We're able to close high ticket sales within 36 hours, right? So I'm expressing what that picture looks like, what that bridge looks like. So now people, okay, that sounds pretty cool. And so, of course, I can't go into absolutely every tiny little detail along the way. That's not the point. But they start to form a bridge in their own mind. Oh, yeah, okay, then that's cool. And so I don't need a huge audience. Okay, that's cool. And oh, yeah, okay, we've become customers. That seems pretty quick. Okay. So therefore, guess what? They're already starting to make their way down there. So I'll give you guys a real weird example here, and I apologize if I offend anyone with this. Actually, no, I don't care. It's not offensive. But let's say that you need a new kidney. And you need it in I don't know why 15 hours, but you need it in 15 hours time. And your friend says to you, hey, listen, I've found one. It's just 100 miles away. So instantly what's happening is you're kind of like, oh, man, you put up your own objection. Like, 100 miles, like 15 hours. Could I even make it in 15 hours? And so you start contemplating, well, am I walking there? What's the terrain like? Will I be ready by the time I get there? Am I equipped to do that? Will I make it in time? Like like all these questions that arise. Is it the same body type, blood type, whatever it is? All these questions arise in your brain. But this is how you would sell that process. And they continue. Say, listen, I got a helicopter. It's a 40-minute flight away. The kidney's been checked and is a perfect match for your body type. They're prepping the surgery room at the destination, and the doctor is on standby. My pilot has fueled the chopper. Get to the chopper. My pilot has fueled it and is ready to go. And I packed your overnight bag, and we're good to go now. And there's a chopper pad outside, right? It's like, oh, wow, okay, that sounds groovy. Let's get it done, right? And so what that means is that basically by doing that, the two stories that play out. One is like filled with peril and objections, and this will never work for me. The other one is, oh, that's quite clear. We're going to hop in the chopper. That's funny, isn't it? Hop in the chop and go to the thing, right? Another example, and something that's more related to us, is be coached on how to grow and scale your business online with a 2 Comma Club award winner for less than the price of a college degree. Whoa, less than a college degree? Yeah, it can make a multi-six-figure income per year. I mean, that's not even taking into consideration what happens in years 3, 4, 5, right? We're talking about 1 year. Now, of course, not everyone's going to get that. I'm being transparent there. Of course, I get that. But even if you're making an extra $1,000 a month, even if you're making an extra $2,000, even if you're making an extra 500, you know how much cash you would need in the bank in order to get that same return. Even if it's $500 a month, $6,000 a year, how much cash? Like, do the math. Seriously, go do the math now. 100K at 6%, 100 grand in the bank. That's how much you'd need, right? Which is why I can never understand when people like refuse to invest in themselves, because it's just such a disconnect in my mind. Get instant access to the tools, resources, and training many others are selling for thousands. Help you grow and scale more efficiently. All right, it's another way of putting it. Price is right. So now we're going to talk about the price. It's the biggest objection when it comes to any sales dynamic. Can't afford it, right? And so if we're able to pre-sell on that price, then it limits the objections that come when we are in a sales dynamic. That's the largest pain point for most people. And a lot of the time, it's not even the money. And I've been here as well. I'm not saying I'm immune to this. I'm saying I'm human, right? It's not even the money a lot of the time. It is more, shit, I have to do the thing. I have to let go of this thing. And then I have to go do that other thing and now it means that I have to change. I have to go and step outside my own little comfort bubble. And when I do, that's really scary. I don't know what's on the other side. Now, the crazy thing is with money is it's a way that we can measure our own status in our own mind, basically, right? So if we have, say, for example, $10,000, and that's our $10,000 worth of status in our minds. I know it's subconscious, but then just bear with me for a second. And then we have to invest in something that's $5,000. Well, we've just cut our status by 50%, right? We've devalued ourselves in order to potentially get a bigger return, a bigger sense of status moving forward in the future. Hopefully this is making sense. Smash the comments. Let me know. Is this on the money? You guys are kind of getting any epiphanies at this point. It's valuable stuff. So there's a few ways that you can reduce the impact of price so you can all but eliminate it as an objection as part of your sales process, right? We can all but eliminate it. Anchoring. This is my favorite thing. I do it all the time. You'll see it if you read any of my content. You'll see what am I doing? I'm putting out big numbers. Not because I like big numbers. I'm not that great at mathematics, to be perfectly honest, but I do it for a couple of things because I'm trying to anchor or juxtapose other investments, right? That's a big thing. So if I say to you something like it's $10,000. So my one-on-one coaching, for example, is $9,800 to give you transparency on that one, for 90 days of coaching to scale to 10 to 20K months and whatnot, right? One-on-one, $9,800. And so now if I say, it's $9,800, I'm talking about that in my content and I'm verbalizing it and I'm taking ownership because it's the truth. It's how much I sell my one-on-one for. And you guys are like, wow, you might go, oh, it's not much. Oh, that's a lot of money. Depends on what part of the spectrum you're on, right? And then I say, cool, well, actually, you can get this 3-day workshop that I'm doing where I'm going to give you the tools. I'm not going to coach you through it, but I'll give you the tools and resources you need in order to build a high-ticket business that spits out 5 to 10K per month. And it's only $1,000, right? I've just juxtaposed the price. It's 10,000, 1,000, right? Tiny by comparison. And so if you keep doing this, you keep reiterating these messages and being blatantly upfront with your pricing, like I just did there with my one-on-one stuff, it means that people can absorb that price. And you're not being deceitful. You're actually just going, okay, cool. Well, they can absorb that price. They can think on it. 9,800. That's a lot of cash. That's a lot of cash. Can I do that? Is that the right thing for me? Right? And I'm not sitting there pressuring people. I don't care. Take it or don't. I don't care. Right? But then what it means is that if I'm talking about these bigger numbers, then anything smaller than that's going to seem tiny. Does this make sense for folks? You guys getting any epiphanies? Smash the comments. Let me know. That'd be much appreciated. Cool. Problem first, syntax. Joseph, let me circle back to that, man. Are you referring to a as part of just general copy? Actually, let me answer it now. If you could expand on that, that'd be great. But yeah, presenting the problem is quite powerful. That's where a lot of the hooks come from. Even just this thing here, I put, what was it? The 3 crucial elements, to make cash come easier as a hook, right? So I'm presenting a problem because I also understand that it's when I say crucial, it's a bit of copy, obviously, but it's like crucial or critical. It implies that because of the momentum that I've been able to build in my business, it implies that if you're not there, then there must be something missing, right? It's clever guru talk. That's what it is. Just kidding. Right. Anyway, let's keep moving, and I'll if you're able to expand upon that, I'll happy to jam on it a bit later on. Just want to get this out of the way. And now my screen is frozen. Cool. So, for example, if you're going, bonus stacking, for example, as part of your offer creation process, the three things you want to do is unpack what's in the core offer. You want to add some incentives, so bonuses that are in alignment, that are congruent with the underlying offer, and ideally, if you can, offer some support. The support is threefold. The reason why you'd be doing that is number one is because if you are supporting your buyers, Adobe did a study a little while back, and I don't have the source off the top of my head, but it was definitely an Adobe index thing that they did. And they found out that a buyer is 60 to 70% more likely to buy based on your recommendation in future. So even if you are, especially at the earlier part of your journey, you're spending a disproportionate amount of energy nurturing people that have bought like a $5 or $10 thing, and there's obviously an energy disconnect there because you're like putting energy and time in for these people that have only invested $10 as a to jump into the thing, but because you're nurturing them, nurturing that relationship, you're spending time with them, you're helping them out with stuff. Yeah, it's a disproportionate upfront investment of your time and energy. But then what happens is, as people solve a problem in their business, it presents new problems, right? All of us at every stage. You want to hit 100K a month? Well, I'm not there yet, but it's a bit different than hitting 50K a month. I know that there's a new problem that I need to face. Most of it's mental, to be perfectly honest, but it's still a new problem. If you're at zero, there's a problem to get to 1K per month or 1K per day, whatever it is, right? New levels, new devils. And so therefore, when you're nurturing these folks and you're helping them out, and it feels like you're putting a disproportionate amount of time and energy in at the start, that's going to pay off because they're going to come to you when you've got that next solution, because you know what the problems are going to be as they go through it, right? Anyway, bonuses, getting back on track. Totaling $1,494. Now, if you're curious about where these like random figures come from, bonus one, $1 trillion, bonus two, $900 billion, total estimates. If you're wondering why they are there, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. And sorry, I'm deviating away. I'm on a bit of a tangent here, so bear with me. But number one is, let's say 497. How do you find that value? How the heck do you come up with that random figure? There's a couple of ways. I'm glad you asked. Number one is you can take a rough hourly rate, right? So a rough hourly rate could be, in my case, I charge $500 an hour for my coaching. So therefore, if it takes me an hour to do that, then that is what my time is worth. That is basically an hour of my time that I've just given away. So therefore, 497 is probably quite accurate. The other way to view it is how much time it saves, and energy it saves the other person. So how much time and energy is it going to save them? And forget what their hourly rate is. It's more the anguish that they have to go through to figure that stuff out on their own, to go do the research, to go get the knowledge, to deploy the knowledge, to practice the knowledge enough to know that they're confident enough to actually get it done, right? How much time can that potentially save? And so sometimes even with a 2-page PDF, that has a high perceived value for that exact reason. It's the time it saves folks. Hopefully this is making sense. Right, let's move on. Today I need $100. So therefore I've juxtaposed the price. It's roughly about 15 times the investment. So normally you'd go about 10 times investment, but this is all hypotheticals, of course, $100. So now all of a sudden, like bonus one, $1 trillion, bonus two, $5 trillion, total value, 100 trillion, yours for $100. Now all of a sudden, $100 isn't like, oh, it's gone from zero to it cost me $100. It's like, wow, I can get all that value for just $100. Right, super simple part of your copywriting. I highly recommend you chuck this in there. Price is right. What else you got? You can also anchor price the opposite way. And so what I mean by that, for example, one of the coaching offers that I had was an upfront investment of about $800, and then 11 monthly payments of $197. And so I could have just said, $3,300 all up for the year of coaching, but it seems smaller this way. And so what you can also do, now this is a little tricky thing for anyone that is selling coaching or courses, anything like that. is human nature is such that if you go, cool, it's 11 payments of 197 over the course of a year, basically, right? And you get a year, a month free. You're like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. So then, cool. What's the math on that? 10, what's that? 2K. Let's call it 2,200. I'll round it up, right? So 2,200. But you might say that if they pay up front, the PIF, the pay in full, after they've jumped in, so let's say they get used to the price, because, oh yeah, 197 times that, yeah, that's pretty cool. I can do that. It's only 197. Even if I make one sale a month, it's well and truly going to pay for itself. That's cool. Okay, bang, I'll jump in. And so then after they've done that, like, hey, just out of curiosity, would you be open to save X percent? And they say, what do you mean? You say, well, I've actually got a pay in full option. So what I can do is credit the existing payment that you've made. So the 197, I can credit that to it. So instead of it being 2,200 over the course of the year, you can actually get in now and save yourself however what percentage it is and get in for $1,200. Save yourself $1,000. So now all of a sudden they don't look at, like, they're already invested in the thing, they've already got used to the price. So now all of a sudden they're saving $1,000 off the total investment. Typically speaking, you'll get around about 50% that take these, from my experience and that of others that I've learned this from. But there also needs to be a solid discrepancy. It can't be kind of like, how would you like to save $200, and the bill is still $2,000, right? It needs to be something that is like quite significant for them to jump on it type stuff. You can also do it the other way, pay a deposit of X and the rest at a later date, or perhaps once certain objectives have been met. Now, this is really helpful if you're doing agencies type stuff where it's like, look, give me $500 deposit and I will do this ninja thing. I don't know what that is. It's me practicing my ninja moves, throwing ninja stars, whatever it is, right? And so once XYZ objectives have been achieved, so it could be like, I will get you 100 leads, or I will get you to your first 10K or your next 20K or whatever it is, right? And then all of a sudden, now there's a risk elimination happening for that buyer, a complete risk elimination. They're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So my upfront investment as the buyer is minimal because the onus is on the other person to come right with the whole thing. Now, I would be very cautious with this one. I'd make sure you got contracts in place, otherwise you get shafted. It tends to work better with agency style like services as opposed to like coaching type stuff, although coaching can work. But the problem with coaching type stuff is you can't guarantee who the person is. You can't guarantee what they're like, right? So it can be a little bit tricky in that one. Pay on results, same sort of deal. And what it means, like I say, is it shifts the burden of risk from your buyer to you as the owner, which is very powerful. If you can minimize the risk factor, very, very powerful for buying. Now, affiliates, if you're an affiliate going, I don't control the cart purchase, Jamie. Well, let's say hypothetically that you were selling something for, and let's go low ticket just for argument's sake. I'll say it's $10, right? And let's say that you really like it's 100% commission, $10 product, but you were like, oh, how can I eliminate the risk? Because there's no refund policy on this, and I want to help minimize that risk factor for that person. What can I do? So maybe you might be prepared to wear the risk yourself. And what I mean by that is you might go, what if I was to pay this person? What if they went and they did this thing and they didn't feel like they got value out of it? What if I was to really, really, really carry the risk for them and then say, I'll give them double their investment. I'll give them $20. If they buy this for 10 and it doesn't do the thing it's promised, I will, out of my own pocket, I'll pay them $20. Where's the balance of or the burden of risk? Where is that now? It's on you as the affiliate. Yeah, it's really scary. But what will happen is your conversion rate will go up, so you get more buyers in. Most people aren't dicks as well, right? Most people aren't going to go, haha, here's a great way to fleece an extra 20. Like, most people aren't like that. And so, yeah, you do wear risk, but you have to have a really abundant approach to this. And what you find is the more conversions that you've got, it's actually going to counterbalance any comeuppance from anyone that decides to take that up anyway. And of course, you put caveats in place. You don't just say, hey, here's free $20, $20. Like, it's like, well, they have to go deploy it. They can't just go, okay, hey, you know how like 2.5 years ago I bought that thing from you for $10? Well, yeah, I've been using it for 2 years, and then I stopped using it, and now like I decided it doesn't work, so I don't use it. So I want the 20. But like you have to put caveats in place. You have to be a bit cautious about this one. But it is a powerful mechanism. Trials, both free and paid. Again, high risk for the vendor, and unfortunately, some people will abuse this. I had memberships and different things, and I could see people were downloading everything. This is like $1 trial. I tried it. I could see them downloading everything. We went through absolutely all the stuff. They probably downloaded all the materials and the videos and stuff as well. And then they canceled, day 13. Oh, so I don't have to pay. Well, no, I mean, no, you don't have to pay. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a free trial, but like, surely if you've got some value out of it. Anyway, the risk does get put onto the vendor. That's the point. Pressure cookers, this is the last part of this. Are you guys getting value from this so far? Let's check on the phone, see what we've got here still. Timothy, how you doing? Amanda? Pierre, what's going on, man? Inga? I'm so sorry. I don't know how to say your name properly, but I appreciate you jumping into the offer creation thing as well. Message. I'm sorry, dude. I feel like I think we had a call one time as well, yeah? Pretty sure we've spoken way back in SAA days. Anyways, moving on. Right, pressure cookers. This, if you take nothing else out of this, hopefully you guys got a ton of value, but if you take nothing else out of it, this is the thing. So if anyone's on my email list, and I apologize over the last 24 hours because I've seen the unsubscribe rate go up dramatically. And why was that? Because as part of a launch phase, as part of an offer, as part of a promotional cycle, we have to create a sense of urgency, a sense of need, a reason to jump in. And especially as affiliates, if we're promoting something that is effectively an evergreen product, we need to get really creative with this stuff. We need to kind of like figure this stuff out, like a disappearing bonus or a time like sensitive offer that deletes itself in 24 hours or whatever it is, right? But this is how you can drastically increase the conversions of your campaigns. And like I say, both evergreen and coaching offers and courses, all that type of stuff as well. So you can have time-based deadlines. Time-based deadlines, right? And so that effectively brings the sales. Now, going back to my little launch, gosh, and even I still feel uncomfortable doing this sometimes, but I also know that I back myself. I know that whoever's jumped into this offer creation thing with myself and Chris and Miodrag, I know you guys are going to get the most ridiculous value, like the insane amount of value. And I know for some of you, it's going to go, and there's going to be a light bulb when you're like, cool, I've now got a skill which can literally feed me for life. I've now got that skill locked in, dialed in, and it's going to be freaking insane. So therefore, I have no issues with me being a pain in the ass to my audience because I believe that the help is going to come on the other side of that. I believe it so strongly in my heart, right? But I also know that not everyone, like, it still feels uncomfortable to me in some regards, even though, like, I just, not to kind of contradict myself, but like, that's the thing, right? So I know that the people that are going to get pissed off are probably not my buyers anyway. And so what you do is effectively last like 24 hours of a launch cycle, promo cycle, whatever. It's when you go 24 hours, notification, reminder, 12 hours, notification, reminder, 6 hours, notification, reminder, 1 hour, notification, reminder. And if you want to get real aggressive, 30 minutes or 15 minutes or something like that, right? It's up to you. I typically go for 1 hour, but point being is that is a lot of content, it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of reminders. Hey, I need to get into this thing now. And that is where that last 24 hours, especially last 12 hours, that's where the bulk of your buyers are going to come from. Super powerful stuff. So here's an example, a couple of things that you can use if you're an affiliate or coach, it really doesn't matter, same deal. Focus groups with a monthly intake. You might decide that you're only going to take 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, however big your audience is, like complete digression for a second, is just consider the economics, right? If you got 5 people in your audience that are like warm leads, like if you create an equilibrium and so there's equal demand with equal supply, like you're going to say, hey, I'm going to have 5 available spots this month, but there's 5 people that that are warm leads and 5 offers, then there's an equilibrium. There's no kind of like urgency behind that, right? So you've got to create your own economic dynamic. Okay, so a better example is if you've got 100 people that are warm leads, and you're only allowing 5 of these opportunities to come out at any given time. Now you've got more demand than there is supply, so you're creating your own economy. This is how you make money out of thin air. It's beautiful once you understand it. So you could have focus groups, right? It doesn't need to be anything fancy. You don't need to create a whole new thing. Like, oh, does that mean I need to create a whole new coaching offer? No, I'm just saying, like, wrap them into what you're doing, but like it's a focus group. Give them a little bit of extra attention. Might be a little bit more support. Might be an intake call. There might be, you know, something that you can do to help them out. Workshops, product launches with a deadline. Obviously, like I say, coming off the back of a product launch over the last like 24-ish hours. And, you know, that's the thing. We had a hard deadline, and like my content was just like hammering it over the last little while. Like I say, because I believe very, very strongly that the people that are going to jump in are going to get an incredible life skill. Special bonuses that disappear, like could be, I don't know. I've even seen people give away MacBook Pros and iPads and webcams and what are these things called? Headphones, microphones, gadgets, you know, all that type of stuff. And of course, you don't want to do that forever because you're going to run out of cash. But like, especially with high ticket stuff in particular, the beauty of it is if you sell one UMM spot, $1,000, you get $500 commission, nice easy sale, and you've got that $500 of margin there. So your first like 5 people that you get on board, why wouldn't you go and invest in like some books or, you know, something that's awesome to help them out? And then of course you make it disappear. So now there's an actual urgency behind it. Side note, you don't need to wait until the end of the month either. I did for this launch, but it could be, well, one of my favorite little promo cycles. I call it the Weekend Warrior. And it's basically where on a Friday, I'll launch a something's coming thing. Saturday, Sunday, I hammer like a little tiny mini launch, 48 hours. I make a bunch of cash, right? Don't overthink it. Just go deploy it. What you can do is to give yourself a bit of leeway is set a date 10 to 21 days out before the opportunity expires, right? It just allows you to ease into it nice and simply. Once you've got a bit of experience, you can bang do it on the fly, but I would set a date 10 to 21 days out. Add content that handles objections and limiting beliefs. So, for example, with the offer creation launch, most people don't understand that if they've got a really well-crafted offer, it takes the weight off the sales process. There's no like getting on a call and doing this kind of high-pressure BS. It's like, cool, so what do you think of that? If you do need to interact in that way, you hop on a call. Hey, so what do you think? And usually it's just like, yeah, I've got a couple of questions just on logistics. Okay, cool, I'm in. Oh, nice. Right, it's more like that when you've got a good offer. But everyone's like worried, oh, well, what about the good leads? Well, good leads don't matter if you've got a good offer, right? And so one of the limiting beliefs / false beliefs, I should say, that we had to tackle was if here's your offer, but no one believes that they need it because they're all worried about good leads, then we need to handle that as a false belief, right? So if you go back through my content, I was doing that. Do a countdown with the last 24 hours, and then, like I say, 24-hour, 12, 6, and 1 hour reminders of expiry. 2 things are going to happen. One is the bulk of your sales are going to come in during this time, and you're going to get a lot less visibility, and you're going to get some unsubscribers if you've got an email list. And it hurts the first time you do it, but it's fine, right? Like I'm completely cool with it. Like I say, because you got to back whatever it is that you're promoting, right? If you truly believe it's going to help folks out, don't be afraid to sell it. It's in that sort of sense of energy about how enthusiastic you are about that thing that people are going to buy into, and they're going to respect your leadership as well. And the people that unsubscribe and they disappear, whatever, completely fine. Don't worry about it. That's there's plenty of pie to go around. There's new audience members. The other thing is, what I tend to do is I will actually, especially on my socials, I will delete these bits of content. So the ones that are like, blah blah blah, only 8 spots left for this thing, 24 hours left, and they do look a bit spammy, I must confess, right? So what I do is after the launch, once the cart's closed, the deadline's done, I'll come back, I'll just delete those ones. I'll keep the long form usually, but I'll delete the small ones. It doesn't need to be there, it doesn't really help with anything, and it just kind of looks a bit crap after a while. So that's my advice. So another method of creating a sense of pressure is to use scarcity, right? And this comes back to my concept of creating your own economics, where if you have a high demand and limited supply, then now you can create your own income out of nowhere. Super powerful. Limited spots available is the most obvious one. Hey, by the way, if anyone's looking to crank out regular 10 to 30K months in 2024, I'm taking literally just 2 people with me in 2024. This is going to be working in close quarters with myself. And if that's of interest, you'd like some information on that, hit me in the DMs, absolutely no pressure. I'll give you a Google Doc to read through and figure out whether that's the right thing for you. So that is a legit offer. Go DM me if that's of interest. Like I say, taking 2 people only. But what did I do there? I made an offer, but also capped it out 2 spots because that's at the capacity that I'm at the moment. Limited bonuses available. So you might have, like I say, solid gold toilet seat, a MacBook Pro. Not that I use a MacBook. I'm just off the top of my head. A nice used coffee cup from your favorite marketer. And whatever it is, right? And there might be limited amounts of those that are there. Dime sales. This is a really powerful one. I've seen them work really well. You do need a little bit of technology for this stuff to work, or you can just do it manually. But it could be, for example, early birds. Like, hey, by the way, first 20 people that jump in this and get it for $50, and then it's going to go up incrementally after every purchase thereafter. So it creates a scarcity, creates an urgency to jump in. That is obviously for folks that are course creators and coaches, where you can control your own product development, things like that. Not so much for affiliates. Cap numbers for a specific intake. So similar to limited spots, it could be just like, hey, by the way, I only ever enroll 5 students each month in my group coaching program. And the simple reason for that is I don't want to wear myself thin. I want to be able to give the absolute best support I possibly can to those 5 people. That's why you need to make a move now. Otherwise, you won't make it and you have to get in on next month's intake. Obviously, if you want to get stuff done, you've got to start. Best time to start is today. Second best time was yesterday. Disappearing bonuses, I think I already mentioned that, but same deal. And combining, so time-based deadlines on top of limited numbers of items available is literally the best method if you've got a small audience or any audience at all. This is how you can create your own pressure cooker of stuff, and pressure cooker has lots of stuff cooking in there, all under pressure. And that concludes my little ditty for today. Hey, what's up, Aaron? How you doing? Thanks for hopping on. Julio, what's going on, man? Thanks for hopping on the offer thing. You're getting a ton of value out of it as well. Right, so I'm going to circle back to your question. My friend, I can't remember who that was, sorry. What's your thoughts on problem first syntax? Yeah, it depends on the type of content that you're writing, because I think that typically with that, you would be looking to shift a belief or give an insight, right? So it would be, for example, like my example before, people assume that they've got a lead generation issue, when in reality, a lot of the time, it's just that they have a sales mechanism issue and more specifically an offer issue, right? Their offer isn't dialed in. And so therefore, think about it this way, if you've got the right offer in front of the right audience, then it will print cash basically. And so therefore, if one of those two is disconnected, a lot of the time it's actually because the offer is not in alignment with your audience, right? So you just need to tweak that. So therefore, if I was leading with that, then I would basically say something to the effect, and I'd use my copywriting ninja-ness here, and I'd say something like, most marketers get this part wrong, which holds them back. It's kind of a throwaway line, but it's also, I do like using implicit language. So that implication would be like, am I most marketers? I don't know. Am I? I don't know. And for transparency, this probably works better if you do have a little bit of authority. If you're just starting out and you're just kind of throwing these random things out, then you need to give people a reason to listen to you. And so, it's why I talk about building authority into your brand all the time, because it's about that thing. You need to get folks to actually pay attention to what you're saying, right? And so if you have a bit of that, you have a little bit of clout in your audience. And the way you do that, don't worry about screenshots of money and all that type of shit. That will come with time. It's more about doing things that are the intangibles to start with. Basically backing yourself to such a point where you start getting your own results. And your own results are things like an inbound lead. And I've shown this to my folks many, many times, but I'll show you guys again. Get your phone out, put on your favorite duck face, do a little selfie like that, add that to your stories, and then basically make something about your program, whatever it is, and use the little poll option in your stories. Me, yes, maybe, whatever it is, right? All you need is one person over the 24-hour period to tap on that thing, and you've got an inbound lead. And now, guess what? You've got something to talk about in your content. And so when you talk about that, now you're creating authority. Anyway, the story for another time. We'll cover that another time. So therefore, if you have a little bit of authority and you make those bold, implicit statements like that, then I think that approaches the problem first, basically, as part of that syntax. Hopefully that makes sense. But sorry, to cap that off. The times that I wouldn't use that were where I was looking at the stage of awareness of my buyer, and I already felt like they were already lower down the funnel. They're already sort of like middle of funnel type stuff. And I'm sort of more speaking to what's actually happening rather than needing to like shift an entire belief for them, if that makes sense. How do you guys find that? Any other questions, anything like that? You smashing those comments, guys, just massively helps out, not just myself, but the other wonderful people that we can get to see this. Hopefully there's a few folks that are getting some value out of this. Aaron, what's going on, man? Thanks very much for hopping on. Me too. Can't wait. More importantly, I'll pose a question to you guys while I'm waiting to see if there's anything popping up. Who is going to, now that you've got a little bit of information, now I understand I didn't give like specific examples of like, type that use your good thing, use your finger paint to the thing there. I know there's none of that, but who's going to take this information and absorb it and deploy it without overthinking? Who's going to go and this weekend, right now, off the back of this live, it might be late at night for some of you, so go get some sleep and wake up in the morning and do it. But who's going to challenge themselves to go get the stuff done? Set a deadline, think about something like an offer of some kind. Like, how can I wrap up something which is really cool around an offer, around the thing that I'm promoting, and it has a limited availability, and I can just write a couple of notes on a post. How can I put that out there and just try that for the weekend? Who's going to do it? No worries at all, Julio. I appreciate you tuning in, man. Yeah, it's probably not a bad one to watch. I think there's a bit of value in it for you. We're striving for results. Yeah, 100%. Because like all the information in the world is amazing, right? But if you're taking information and you're just like, oh yeah, that was a great idea, or I don't fully get that yet, and that's the point. It's not you don't fully get it until you go deploy it. That's the thing with most information, right? Like for many of us at least, anyway, it's kind of like, hey, I know I get the theory behind it, but it's in the doing that the true learning comes out. And hopefully I've just sparked a couple of ideas for you guys, and that's it. Awesome. Cool, guys. I'm going to go grab. I was going to go get lunch an hour ago, but it's just gone 2 p.m. my time, 12 minutes past 2. So I'm going to go grab some lunch and brave the weather. It's very, very rainy out here. But you guys have an amazing weekend. I really, really, truly appreciate everyone that's tuned in today. Hopefully you got some value out of this. I really, really have just tried to give you guys some value. Any questions, just hit me up. Sorry, I don't even know who this is, but I'm going to pick on you for a second. I'm going to be like Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try. Just give it a shot. And I'll put a little caveat on this and say that 2 things. If you've never done it before, it's going to feel really uncomfortable. Number 1. Yes, I like it. I'll do it. Good. Number 1, it's going to feel uncomfortable. And you may fall flat on your face and you might not make a bunch of sales. I just gave a live just before I hopped on this one in my private coaching, and yeah, only child. I spent a lot of time in front of the television when I was a child, speaking at the TV. Just kidding. What was I going with that one? Yeah, I just gave a live. And basically, think about it this way. Here's the thing. A sales page, let's go with a low ticket offer, and let's be relatively around about, let's just say 10%. It converts to 10%. So 1 out of 10 people that see the sales page are going to buy the low ticket thing, hypothetically, right? So that means effectively, if that's us and we're selling something, we are going to get rejected 9 times out of 10 before we find that buyer and amongst it, right? And of course, we want the buyers. That's the whole thing. We want the cash. And so if you take that lens and you start thinking about that, then it should, in theory, help to remove some of that fear about it. Because what it means is that I'm going to put an offer out. I'm probably going to be wrong 90% of the time. And you're not looking at it going, oh, I am such a loser because I got it wrong. Oh, woe is me. Instead, you flip that around and go, yeah, but I fucking did it. I put myself out there. It was, yeah, damn right, it was uncomfortable. But I'm still trying to find that one person out there that I can help. And so I'm going to keep going until I find that one person. Because I know they're out there. I know that they're out there. There's many, many, many people out there. And when you do, and you do it for the 10th time, as Jamie told you to, and it felt really uncomfortable, and you make that sale, and you're like, oh, I get it now. And then you look back and you're, I actually wasn't as bad as I thought. And so then you can kind of go back and look at all the offers that you put out, and like, okay, here's how I could have improved that one. Here's what needed to happen before that one. Here's how I could have capped the numbers out, which would have made the economic environment look a bit better for that one. Okay, cool. And so then you're not like approaching it with a sense of your own emotional state, going, oh, what was me? I suck because I put an offer out, no one bought it. That's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. When you put more offers out, the more offers you put out, the more money you are likely to make. Right. One more little tangent, one more little rant, and I'm really going to bounce. But on the subject of offers out, think of it this way. And I'll be really curious for those of you that are on the live that are brave. What's your monthly goal with the online stuff? Just roughly. It doesn't have to be ballpark. And I'm not talking about I don't mean like future stuff. I mean like next 3 months type stuff. Next month. What do you want to make in December? Let's go with it. 10K. Boom. Love it. Awesome. Anyone else brave enough? Okay. Love it. Great goals. Super doable. I will never say it's easy. Super doable, though. It is the internet. Right. So here's the thing. Push higher. Yes. I want to help that one person. Fuck yes. I love that. Yes. Okay. Right. Why did I ask you guys that? Because here's the thing. I'm going to give you something. Write this one down. I highly recommend it. Or if you don't write it, just come back and watch this and just absorb what I'm saying here. What is the value of the offers that you currently have out right now, out in the marketplace? So you've had a conversation with someone, you've delivered your Google Doc, or you DM them for them to think about, or you've delivered your affiliate offer with a sales page on it. What is the value of that? Like, guess, just have a guess. It doesn't, and you don't need to answer. It's rhetorical. I'm just getting you to think through some stuff, right? In most cases, it's going to be not that much. And so if you're aiming for 5K, 10K, 20K, whatever it is, then you've got to understand that your amount, the volume of offers that you need out to close at 10%, which is aggressive, it's probably going to be smaller. At 10%, though, that's usually for low tickets, probably about on the money, but for high tickets, a little bit different. 10%, then what's the value of the offers? So if you're making 10K in a month, you need to have out around about 100K worth of offers. And don't scare yourself with that. It's not actually that big a number. I'm not saying you only have to close the high ticket stuff. I'm talking about the low ticket stuff. I'm talking about all that type of stuff. So therefore, when you look at it through that lens, you're like, oh shit, okay. And so then it probably starts to get a bit depressing for most of us, because you're like, I've got no offers out. How am I going to make money? And that's the thing. And what tends to happen is when you are like that, when you're in that mode and you're thinking through the stuff, and then you start worrying like, well, I've got none now. How am I going to make money? And so then, I'm not trying to create a deficiency in your own mind. I'm saying to just be realistic with stuff. Because if you can work out the mathematics and you go through and like, Amanda, let's say that you're promoting UMM Lite. So it's $1,000, so $500 per sale. And so that means you need 20 of those, right? Which then means in order to close at around about 10%, you need, I can't even do the math on that one. Someone help me out with that. There's 100 offers. And so here's the thing. So when I say offers, right, this is what else I mean. Is that I'm inviting someone to be part of my thing. Like, hey, check out this information if you're interested. You don't have to buy it, but is that of interest? Yeah, sure, I'll check it out. Cool. But that might happen 90 days prior, and then that's just a bad timing. And so then 30 days go by, 60 days go by, bang, 90 days. And so that's why over time, if you're making more and more and more offers over time, that's why that figure gets bigger. That's why when you go, okay, end of month intake for my case study group for December, and I'm shutting the gates, that's why you're building up that buying pressure that whole time, because I've seen your offer, I've had time to sit with it, and then it just goes like a big silly putty sandwich, right? And then you have to kind of start building that equity back up again. But if you guys start thinking about that stuff, and you start thinking about the mathematics behind that, and you look at it mathematically, and you remove your own ego out of the way and your own like sense of pride about getting rejected and shit like that, then that's just going to help you out massively. Hope that helps, guys. Right, this has been really, really fun, but I need to eat. I'm going a little bit crazy over here. What was me? Anyway, I've enjoyed this. It's been really cool. I'm going to be doing a ton of these over December. That's my goal. I'm going to be delivering a shitload of value, help as many of you out as I possibly can, but I'm also going to be offering a ton of stuff in December. So just be warned. That is my operation, my modus operandi for December. Tons of value, tons of offers. Let's go. All right, have a good one, guys. Have an awesome weekend. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.